And now, let us take a moment to just breathe into our hearts and become more and more aware of God's presence with us as we come together as one family, united in spirit, to send forth healing light and love and peace to our world. We remember the great need of our world, and we seek to still our mind, so that we come into a place of peace and deep stillness, drawing closer to God in prayer. Let us open our hearts to the power, love, and wisdom of God. And by the Christ light and love in our hearts, we call to the great angels of the Christ Star Circle. Being still, we feel their presence and their power. And now, with all the will of our minds, with all the love of our deepest hearts, we send forth the light. We send it forth as a great star of light, a blazing star, a star of the Christ light, lifting all hearts into the eternal heart of God. By all the power of Christ within our hearts, we send forth the light to the world. We hold our beautiful planet in the healing light of the Christ star, and we hold within this healing ray the soil, the waters of the earth and the air, and all nature, especially the human and animal kingdoms. And we hold the elements today, particularly the water element, Hurricane Beryl, and all those who have been in the path, all those who are aiding, all those who've experienced it, and our current area where we live close by. We hold everyone in all of nature in this radiant healing light. With our divine peace within, the great healer has said we have that peace that can still the storm. So we just offer our divine peace to this next evolutionary challenge and area of growth. And we hold in the heart of the Christ star the soul of the Americas, in the soul of the people of the Americas. May the light of the Christ star shine through the hearts and minds of the people of the Americas to bring healing to mankind and reverence for all life. And let us now hold within the healing star anyone known to us personally who is in need of help or healing. Silently, we name them now and see them radiant within this beautiful healing light. Amen. Good morning, everyone. If you can't hear me, let me know, since we don't have our speakers today. Jeff has selected a beautiful reading from White Eagle, and it's very timely because of the times that we're living in, the great change, the rapid change, the unexpected changes. And it's called The Importance of Thoughts and Words. White Eagle says, "It is well to speak little, better still to say nothing, unless you're quite sure that what you wish to say is true, kind, and helpful. Before speaking, think carefully whether what you're going to say has those three qualities, and if it has not, do not say it. It is well to get used to even now thinking carefully before speaking. You must watch every word, lest you should tell what not must be told, should tell what must not be told. Much common talk is unnecessary and foolish. So when we should be accustomed to listen rather than talk, and do not offer opinions unless we're directly asked for them. Another common desire, which you must sternly repress, is the wish to meddle in other men's business. What another one does or says or believes is no affair of yours, and you must learn to let him absolutely alone. He has the full right to free thought, speech, and action, so long as he does not interfere with anyone else. You yourself claim the freedom to do what you think proper, and you must allow the same freedom to him when he exercises it. You have no right to talk about him. On no account you must not go on to some third person about a matter. Beloved brethren, be wise in your speech and thought and service. It is not an easy path, beloved brethren, but it is so satisfyingly and so good. We must examine our actions, our words, and our thoughts, and see if they measure up to the standard of kindness and brotherhood. We must remember to control the unruly little member, the tongue, and use it with wisdom, kindness, and love. Never speak unless you're going to say something helpful and wise. And if you cannot help, it is better to be silent. Do we as brethren weigh carefully our words? Do we consider the feelings of our brethren when we speak and act? Not only in the big things of life, but in everyday interaction. Kindness must be spontaneous, and the lips must be controlled by kindness, and also the thought, will it hurt, should be foremost in our thoughts. This message, beloved brethren, comes from a wise source, from one who loves you better than you have ever been loved by a mortal, and it is so fatally easy to set the world aright, so easy to do your neighbor's work better than himself, so easy to see the faults of your brother. So let us henceforth concentrate on the beauty in our brother and not his failing. Manestus said, "Love is seeing good." And by seeing good, we're strengthening that beautiful golden light that resides within every one of us, helping it grow and expand. Thought is the most powerful force which man uses in this world. And as a man thinketh, so he is, and as a man desireth, so he receives. So thinks. By your thoughts, particularly your words, you create great sorrow and trouble to others, for the foolish word, so easily spoken, can wound. So, my brethren, it's important, if you will be servers of the human race in God's house, to guard the tongue. Beloved brethren, we cannot strongly emphasize the power of thought. Man thinks that thought is something private, that no one can read his thoughts, but he makes a great mistake. Your thoughts are known not only in the spirit world, but to everybody. And your thoughts expressed in your face, in your well-being of your body, your thoughts, even your actions, your clothing, in your homes, in the business, in every action, in your walk, your writing, your aura, which is hidden shall be shouted from the housetops, and it's broadcast to all. And we know that by seeing only good, by creating good, by positive thought, we can bring to humanity that which is desirable and good. So we say only helpful things, and if we cannot, we remain silent. Speech is an instrument of service, of healing and construction, and it's most necessary for us all to guard our speech. All life is unfolding and is ever progressing, and all is good and all is God. Amen. And I am going to mention something that we've heard from White Eagle, that there's 2 areas when we're always allowed to interfere, and that can be with our beloved animal kingdom and with our children. And I just want to say that we had a little miracle in our neighborhood, because we've had more than one miracle lately in our neighborhood, but there's been this little deer that has been wanting to get out of a neighbor's yard, a little baby deer. And so yesterday, as Jeff and I were coming back from the pool at about 6-something in the morning, this little deer was just frantic, and the mother deer was in our yard. And so anyway, to make a long story short, we kind of interfered. We call our neighbor, we're saying, please, 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 would you open, they have a gate to let that little baby out. And Jeff stood out there talking to Blake on the cell phone, and the next thing you know, the little one found a gap. The gate opened, but he didn't go out the gate. But what he ended up doing was he crawled under the fence and he got free. So we're just so thrilled. So we always, whatever we need to do to help our animal brethren and our beloved children of Mother Earth, let's do it. We are totally allowed. Amen.
That's great.
The importance of thoughts and words. I saw a sign once that read, "Peace begins with a smile." When you stop and think about that, it takes you all kinds of places, and they're all good places. Now, I just said stop and think. If you would, please, stop and think about that. Stop and think. It's something we seldom do anymore. Sure, we think a lot, but who has the time to stop? So I'll give you a quiet moment to stop and think about it and see what it brings into your mind. Peace begins with a smile. Now, wasn't that nice? You don't have to raise your hand, but did anyone besides me come up with peace taking over the world? Okay, the peace thing isn't my topic today. My topic is the stop and think part, particularly the stop part. Let's face it, we all think. Our mind is always working away at something, and we tend to call it thought, although sometimes that may be overselling it. Communication begins with a thought. I don't know where I read that, but it certainly sounds simple enough. It makes sense that anything that comes out of our mouths probably had to initiate in our brain somewhere. Even if you blurt something out as a reaction to a surprise, a scare, something funny or painful, you thought it before, or at least as you were saying it. Our eternal challenge, as the reading so eloquently puts, is not to just think, but consider others in our thinking. White Eagle asks, is it helpful and wise? Is it kind? In At the Feet of the Master, the question is it true, kind, and helpful? Oh, and by the way, if you didn't get it from the reading, both gossip and criticism will end you up on Santa's not-so-good list. We should always take care with our words. We should choose them carefully, much more carefully than we do most of the time. This is true for ourselves as well as others. Let's face it, we sometimes don't treat ourselves very nicely. You drop your soda. As it spatters sticky goo all over your shoes and the floor, you say, "Ooh, what lovely patterns." Or perhaps, "Gee, what a great opportunity to use that new sponge I just bought." No, it's usually, "Oh, bleep you, bleep, bleep, bleep." This last spring, I had the opportunity to hear a speaker who modeled right thought, right speech, and right action in his everyday life. Not from the beginning, though, as he was quick to tell us, but rather from the time that he chose to pursue the major goal in his life, which at a relatively young age was to be an Olympic athlete. In addition to having some great tales about his journey, he told us how he had to overcome the tendency to occasionally speak unkindly about himself. His great example was when what he would do was something like forgetting his car keys. Of course, he would use the bleepity-bleep words. But as he realized the effect of these words on his attitude and his self-esteem, he began to train himself to treat himself more kindly. As he walked all the way back to the house or the office or wherever he had to go to get them, instead of saying to himself, "You idiot, you're always forgetting the keys," he would say, "Wow, I am so smart. I just remembered that I forgot my keys." As for the words we use with and toward others, if it isn't kind and true and helpful, you probably shouldn't say it. And that's a lot to process prior to everything you say. So in my classroom, I have a poster that's a stop sign, red, 8-sided stop sign, but it reads think instead of stop. Don't know if it works or not. They read it at least once. Another teacher at school has a poster that is exactly what we just said. In big letters, it says think, and underneath the T, it says, is it true? Under the H, is it helpful? Under the I, is it inspiring? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If not, don't say it. Another variation of that would be think before you text, tweet, email, upload to YouTube, TikTok, and all the other social media outlets. That could probably be our 21st century mantra. As a teacher in nearly constant contact with teenagers, I have to constantly watch how I respond to students. I can't always say what my mind first comes up with, even when the question is begging for it. My favorite, I've been sick. Did you do anything while I was gone? You can guess exactly what I want to say, but I bite my tongue and say yes, and I'm sorry you missed it, but we will get you caught up. I also have to be careful how I critique, not criticize, my students' work. It's true that a single poorly chosen or well-chosen word can instantly alter someone's mood, attitude, behavior, sometimes with lasting effects on their performance. Maya Angelou said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." The Dalai Lama says it well. So my true religion is kindness. If you practice kindness as you live, no matter if you are learned or not learned, whether you believe in the next life or not, whether you believe in God or Buddha or some other religion, in day-to-day life, you have to be a kind person. With this motivation, it doesn't matter whether you are a practitioner or a lawyer or politician, administrator, worker, or engineer. Whatever your profession or field, you carry your work as a professional. In the meantime, deep down, you are a kind person. This is something useful in daily life. In the teachings of Buddha and his followers, I found these tidbits. Words have the power to destroy or heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world. Happiness comes when your work and words are of benefit to yourself and others. Learn to respond, not react. And here's a quote variously attributed on the internet to Lao Tzu, Gandhi, and Margaret Thatcher. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. So I think we should all be able to agree that it starts with thoughts, and we can't help those. But if we focus and train ourselves to be positive, think positively, wear an aura of positivity, then where we take it from there is all up to us. Do we blurt and possibly hurt? Or do we think and possibly help or inspire? I suggest that if you can't remember most of this, at least remember to always be kind. If you can do that, as the Dalai Lama said, this is something useful in daily life. God bless you. All right, communion, a little different. Communion is talking to God. First, think of what you will communicate to God. It's best to be a bit prepared. Then, we can all go together, each to our own talk to God place. Some place you have been, or perhaps dreamed of, where you can be away from earthly things, away from busy, away from noise and kerfuffle. Think of your mountains, your seashore, your garden, wherever it is. Let the sound of the bowl take you out of your earthly mind and transport you through your heart to that place you can see. The flowers speak, the trees enfold in friendliness. You are at that place where you have that inner feeling, that inner knowing of God, where you can communicate directly with God, all love. Empty your heart to Him. Give yourself to Him in humility, in gentleness, in love. Feel the love in return. Feel the warmth of God's love as He blesses you. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the restfulness. Be filled with sunlight. Enjoy nature. Lie upon Mother Earth and absorb the magnetism of the earth. Breathe in the air and glorify it. Feel the trees enfold you as a mother. The great oak, the majestic cedar. Hear the nature spirits in the breeze, in the sound of the running water. Remember these feelings. Remember the feeling of love warming you, surrounding you. Let the bowl bring you back to your heart, to your center.